What's going on, guys? It's Crazy Cat from Crazy Travels. Oh my God, Crazy.
And I'm Chago Mananas,
And we ain't scared to travel. Guys, welcome to your first episode of We Ain't Scared to Travel, where we encourage you to travel, where we motivate you, where we tell you our little hiccups, what went good for us, what went wrong for us. And at the end, I'm telling you, every vacation that we've had has been an awesome vacation. Whether there's been hiccups or not, it's an awesome experience to try something different. Chango, tell me what you think.
You know what? You have a point, right? We are looking to show you guys how to travel with budget, but at the same time, take that little vacation where you should go out of your comfort zone. And I've done it with Alex, where he gives me advice. I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves, where I like to get advice from some of my peers and friends, my family friends, where they've gone before, and I get really good tips.
So one of the things that I pride myself in is that I want you to go on a vacation. I just don't want you to go on a vacation. I want you to go on a vacation on a budget. Why do I want you to go on a budget? Because the last thing that I want you to do is to come home with a big credit card bill. Man, when you go on a vacation, let me tell you, if you want to buy a Mickey Mouse, if you want to buy a souvenir, the best place to buy a souvenir is at a flea market or at a yard sale. So if you're going on a vacation, go on a vacation and enjoy your vacation. Try something new, try a new restaurant, do something different so you're not going to the same destination over and over and over and over again. And so here, Chango and I are going to try to talk about our experience, what we've done, what's worked for us, some of the things that, hey man, I tried this, I'm glad I tried it, but maybe, it's up to you as to whether or not you want to try it. And so that's our goal here at, We Ain't Scared to Travel. Our little podcast is to, every week we're going to put one out, and then, on the comment section, tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us what's worked for you, where, maybe you've already done something like that, or maybe you're afraid to branch out and try something different. Chago, what was it for you that helped you break off and say, hey, I need to go to Europe? Because this guy went to Europe. And not only that, but he did the speed trains. He met multiple countries.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your experience.
I think what motivated me was hearing your stories, right? I go back to that experience from friends, where you would tell me you guys went for your honeymoon, and you guys went to Europe. The stories from Paris, from Italy, from London, and that was one of my motivators. Where, you know what, if Alex can do it, I can do it, right? And you would always tell me, hey, this is secure, this is not secure. Do this, do a tour, don't do a tour. Venture out for yourself, and that's where I took that little leap, that extra step to take those vacations. And you brought up a good point, that bringing the gifts, spending that unnecessary money. At the end of the day, that vacation is for you and your family.
Yeah.
Those memories are going to be those core memories, where you're going to be raising your grandkids, you're going to be with other family, and you're going to get that advice, right?
Yeah.
That's what motivated me, hearing your stories, taking that extra step to go.
And I'm glad, because when he first came to me and told me, hey, Crazy, I want to go on a vacation, and he told me all the places he wanted to see, and I said, man, this is the first time you're traveling? Yeah, maybe you need to go on a guided tour. And it wasn't bad advice. I'm just thinking of him, his wife, and I'm thinking, hey, look, you've never been overseas. Maybe, baby steps. And I'm glad that he listened to me. I'm glad that he did his own research, and he did it on his own. He did his own itinerary, and I helped him book a couple of hotel rooms. We found the best, least expensive option, which is what I like to do, is, hey, man, the star rating is, it's a 2.5, 3.5 star. It's not a 5-star. You don't need a 5-star. Why don't I need a 5-star? Because you're gonna be sightseeing. You're gonna go out sightsee, and then you're gonna come home tired, unwind, take a quick shower, maybe watch a little TV, go to sleep, wake up, and hit it again. There's no point in buying a 5-star,
Yes.
because the money that you're saving, you're gonna use it to buy, you know, a nice meal, to go to a nice restaurant. Maybe you go to a museum. Maybe you go to a park, some place that has an admission, and you're like, in lieu of staying at a hotel that I'm not really staying at, I can go and sightsee.
Yeah, so you brought up a good point, right? Where you would tell me, hey, you know, for $50 less, you'll get a 2-star or 2.5.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the bad reviews were like, oh, they didn't give me an extra soap, and just for that to get a 2-star
Yeah.
review. And so I would kind of read one of my things for budgeting when I stay at hotels, especially when I'm traveling somewhere where I don't know. I like to wake up to a good breakfast.
Yeah.
So I like to include the free breakfast, but at the same time, you're saving that extra money, especially if it's just two of you guys. You know, it's $30, $40. But once you have a family, 5, 6, it can add up real quick, and that's one of the good tips that I picked up from you guys.
So how do you book a hotel, right? Because I mean, I just go on there and I, you know, I'm gonna stay at the Hilton. I'm always staying at the Hilton. But what you do is you go to a search and you first and foremost put your phone on incognito, so these guys don't know that you're searching. And you go to your price lines, you go to your booking.coms, your Expedias, you look for these sites, right? And then you put your destination. And then you filter what you want. You want a 3-star and above. You want a 7-star rating and above. And then you want free breakfast. If you're gonna have a vehicle, you want free parking. And then you hit enter. And now you got a long list of all of the listings that you want. And then you can also go a step above and say list by price. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to see all the hotels that you want to stay at, más o menos what you want, the star rating, the you know, reviews, and then free breakfast, free parking, all the stuff. Maybe you want a free swimming pool, right? And so you go down the list, and now you're looking at the pictures, you're looking at the reviews, and you start talking to your significant other. How do you and your wife decide what you want to do and where you want to stay?
So one of the good points you brought up is, it may not seem like a lot, right? But free parking is really important, especially like for me when we went to DC. We love to go to Washington DC. Once you stay like in the center where the White House and all, you know, all that area, parking is $30, $40 a day. And even if you don't park at the hotel, you have to go park at a parking garage, and they might have a special for the whole week. But you're already spending that extra money, $20 a day.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things where I take into consideration when I go to big cities. I like to have the free parking, and I go back to the breakfast. The breakfast I did not anticipate when I traveled to Europe the first time. The free breakfast, right? Because they're smaller rooms, but at the same time, crazy. I was spending $40 for breakfast every day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh man, I need to get a hotel that has free breakfast, which is not a buffet, right? Sometimes,
Yeah.
And sometimes you're on the go. Hey, let's go, let's do this, let's do that.
And one of the really neat things about these breakfasts, especially the overseas European hotels, is that they have your jamón serrano,
Yes.
your prosciutto. It may not be a lot of fruit, but they got fruit. They got bananas. They got chocolate bananas. They got apples.
Yeah.
They got stuff that you can grab and put in your bag, and you know, and then that'll be a little snack. Now, one thing that I love to do when I'm in Europe is I'll go to a butcher or a deli, and I'll buy my own bread. I'll buy my own meats, my own cuts for under 10 euros.
Yes.
I got breakfast and lunch.
And you know what? Sorry to interrupt, crazy, but that is a tip that I picked up when I went to travel. I went to Delhi, and that was my lunch and dinner. And not that you want to be stingy, right? It's more of you want to use that extra money to do activities with your significant other or your family. So that's where you can save yourself hundreds of dollars. I mean, that's
the thing out there, Django, is that people are telling you it's too expensive. I can't go because it's too expensive. The county fair is too expensive. The county, the games are too expensive. To go to this game, to go to that game. And man, if you just play it smart and you eat before, you're gonna experience the game, you're gonna experience the show, you're gonna experience now. Why do we? Why are we talking about having a free breakfast and maybe packing a little something for lunch so that you can enjoy the show, and then for dinner you can maybe splurge a little. And so every time that you say, whether it's on breakfast or lunch, there's going to be somewhere where you can splurge a little, because you may not. Let's say Broadway, right? I went to Broadway with some friends of ours, 2 kids, him and his girlfriend, and myself and my wife, right? And my wife and I, we're doing good, so we can pay the price of your tickets, right? And I'm thinking, hey, look, it's off Broadway. The starting is $25. We buy $25. Everybody's good to go. We get there, and the $25 tickets are sold out. And so what is next? The next price value is $66. And so now it's, okay, I got to pay $66 for 4 kids. And so, hey, you know what? Let me help you out. And so every now and then you might have to do that with a friend of yours. Hey, you know what? For the sake of going, I'll pay for that kid because I can afford it, because I save money over here. And now we're going to see a show. Yes, it's off Broadway, but we're seeing a Broadway show. And so these are things that you can do as a family. Say, hey, look, we're going to skip here, but we're going to splurge over here.
And that's good, right? And the thing is, you build those core memories, right? And something's, but crazy. I got the money to spend crazy. I don't care about budget. Guess what? That's what we're here also for. If you have that money to splurge.
Some of y'all may have the money to travel all over the world, but you have no idea how to go about traveling. So, for example, I've never been on a speed train. I've always been guided tours, or I've done one whole city, Saturday for Saturday, Barcelona, all of Barcelona. Now I'm taking trains to, Sagrada Familia or what have you, you know what I mean? But how did you do it to go from country to country, city to city?
Well, so I did the train, and then we're talking about that earlier, that sometimes I had a plan, itinerary, right? Where I was going to take the train all the way from one country down to another country. And then I ended up getting into a hiccup, and that's where I kind of just
live and learn.
Yeah, I lived and learned, right? And I think that was one of the most crazy experiences, because there was some of the drivers didn't want to go to work, right?
Yeah.
There were strikes here and there around that time when we went. And so it was pretty much, I went from the speed train to going to a metro, and that was kind of, it could have ruined our trip, but at the same time, I'm a risk taker. And it was nice because I ended up exploring small towns that were not in my itinerary. So I recommend that you do have a itinerary, like Crazy does, right?
I always build itineraries, and I do them for free.
And I'm more of those itineraries, screw it. Let's do something that's just freestyle it.
So you did the research on how to buy the tickets, how to write, where to get off, how to get on the next one, and then your life throws a curveball.
Yes.
But you got to enjoy your vacation, and you make memories with your significant other. And that's the thing. You might have all the money in the world, but you have no idea how to take the first step to go on a vacation. Go ahead.
And some of it crazy, like you say, a lot of people are, oh, it's expensive. Don't go, don't go. But knowing people that have gone, knowing people that have done the research, knowing what to do, when to go, hey, you know what, crazy, we don't have that extra $1,000. You know what? Let's go in off season.
Yeah.
Instead of going during when it's the peak season, right? So that's why we're here, right? We're here to help you out from our experience. At least from both. I know Crazy's traveled a lot more, and I grab a lot of ideas from Crazy, right? From you, right? And just because I trust, there's that trust. We're never gonna guide you the wrong way.
Yeah.
We're always gonna you're always gonna tell us your needs, what your budget is, and we, from our experiences, we can tell you what
little hiccups we found. Guys, you're listening to We Ain't Scared to Travel. Crazy Can't Take You Crazy Travels, and
I'm talking bananas, right? We are not scared of travel.
Exactly. So, he talks about, how much is it gonna cost, man? Should I go off season? When should I go on this vacation? When should I break out my shell? Man, there is Groupons. There are 7-day travel cards. For example, if you're in New York, if you're in London, if you're in Barcelona, and you buy the 7-day unlimited travel card where you're paying $45 for 7 days of public transportation, and you're moving around the city, and you don't have to worry about how much is a Lyft going to cost, how much is a taxi going to cost, and these are things that we want you guys to know that we can help you find answers. You got questions, we have answers. And if we don't have the answer, guess what we're going to do? We're going to ask around. And that's the beauty about us, is that we're out there looking and asking. Every time I go on a vacation, Chando, I'm listening to other travelers. What are they doing? What did they do? What hiccups did they run into? What's going on in the city? Is anything happening? For example, in his case, there was a strike, and so, hey, what's going on? How do I get from this point to this point if there's no train rides? Oh, well, guess what? You're going to have to ride a bus. Well, what bus do I ride?
So one of those hiccups was it was a strike. It was crazy because one of them stopped in the middle of nowhere, and then we had to get. Well, there was a small town, so we ended up getting a bus line flex. It's kind of a greenish, and that was kind of crazy. It was not. It was a nice experience because pretty much everybody from the train. Some people stayed in there because the train driver was going to be there until the operator was going to be there until tomorrow morning, and mostly the young people. I still consider myself young, right?
Yeah.
But younger people that were traveling, hey, download this app. And then I was kind of like feeding, we're survivors. We're survivors. So I'm like, okay, hey, what app? I would download the app. And one of the important things is I would always carry my extra battery pack because you never know when you have to go use your GPS or GPS. It sucks a lot of battery from the phone. So I ended up doing that. And then I ended up going from the local trains, like the metro, until I got to my next checkpoint. And that's where it was, I would not recommend it if it's your first time, but we've traveled, we'd like to. I'm the risk taker, and that was a really nice experience. We still talk about that.
Earlier I told you that I always recommend you go on a guided tour. What's a guided tour, crazy? A guided tour is a company that has a bus driver, a bus, and a tour director. The tour director is going to take care of you. He or she is also going to give you points. That's how I became Crazy Travels. That's how I started my travel page, by listening to Aldo in Italy. I sat next to Aldo. Aldo told me, hey man, you want to save some money? Go and, we're going to go to a butcher. Go there and have him make you your bocadillo. Have him make you your little hoagie. It's going to cost you €4. I went to a pizza place. By the way, pizza is America. I don't know why we think that pizza and spaghetti is Italian, but I went out there. I paid $55 for a medium pizza, 2 waters, and a bottle of wine. $55. The pizza at the airport was way better than that pizza because we think as Americans, oh, this is. I'm eating Italian, and it wasn't Italian. We keep thinking that, Italian is, what's that Italian restaurant?
Olive Garden.
Yeah, and so that's what we equate with Italian, but no, man, it's the mariscos, the seafood and the prosciutto, all of that stuff, and then certain foods that they have there. And so I wasted $55 on a pizza and 2 bottled waters and a bottle of wine. That the bottle of wine could have probably cost like, I don't know, $6.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an expensive bottle of wine, right? But it's still things that we learn. And so the guided tour, going back to the guided tour, you're going to have a group, right? You're going to have about maybe 30 or 40 people in your group. Every morning you have breakfast at the hotel, and then you get on the bus the tour director is giving you, while you're going to your destination, while you're going to your itinerary, whatever is on your itinerary, your excursion, your museum, whatever it is that you're doing, that tour director is explaining to you, hey, this is going to happen. Hey, we're going to go here. Hey, look, by the way, while we're driving here, this is the Parthenon. This is this. This is that. This was built on, whenever it was built. And then, you go to your excursion, and then you go back. Your tour director's there. You might have a guy that they call the whisperer. The whisperer is someone who is your tour guide, and that guy's guiding you during your tour, and then he takes you back to your tour director, and then your tour director puts you back on the bus, and then that bus goes back to your hotel. And so you're always supervised. You're never really alone, unless they give you free time. For example, Leaning Tower of Pisa. Hey guys, you got 3 hours. Go and explore the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Go to eat. Go, buy souvenirs. Go do whatever you want to. At 3 o'clock, we're going to meet right here. And so there's no confusion. You know that, hey, the Leaning Tower's over here, and then I just got to walk over here, and I'll meet with my group here. And sure enough, you guys get back on the bus.
So crazy. What if I don't have a passport? Crazy, right?
Man, passports.
I mean, we are talking about this travel, right? But we live in a beautiful country where there's so much to see also in the United States, right?
So what is a passport? For those of you that, it's that little blue book that says USA. A passport is an open book. Man, it is a book to see the world. And yes, it's going to cost you $107 to get your passport. But once you get your passport, man, you can see the world. Barcelona, Saturday through Saturday. Now, I haven't checked it recently, but I did Barcelona. My wife and I did Barcelona, Saturday through Saturday. Out of Boston, $900 per person. Flight and hotel. $900 per person to see Barcelona, to see Camp Nou, where Barcelona plays, to go see the Black Madonna, to Sagrada Familia, to go to the Mediterranean Sea. Go ahead.
And to kind of compare this, we're talking about budget, right?
Yeah.
$900. I spend that. We spend that, or usually we go to Houston.
San Antonio.
Them hotels are
Austin.
expensive.
Yep. The only thing I do is the river walk. When I go in Vegas, because I get on a plane, I'm in Vegas, and Vegas, it's the same vacation over and over again. And maybe you're comfortable with that, but maybe you're like, man, I wouldn't mind trying something different. I'm using Barcelona as an example, right? $900. $900, that's a flight and a hotel per person, of course, right? But imagine, man, you get your passport and you're like crazy. Hey, man, I got X amount of money. What can I do? We already talked about getting a hotel with free breakfast.
Yeah.
We already talked about, hey, man, I'm going to go to the supermarket and I'm going to buy some groceries and I'm going to have stuff to snack on for lunch. And then I'm going to go to Groupon's. I'm going to go to, whatever it is and look for deals so that, maybe you're not going to eat at a 5-star restaurant for dinner, but maybe you go to a nice little mom and pop restaurant and enjoy a nice meal.
Yes, and then the thing with mom and pops, right? You get to meet so many people. I've never met so many people that travel and they just explore, go. And they have a plan, more or less where to go, but at the same time, they're in a budget. And I've met a lot of those travelers where they just, they go backpacking.
Yeah.
And they go and they explore because they don't have that money. So don't be afraid. I've seen teenagers where they graduated from high school and that's their summer or graduation gift. And they go and they explore, right? So don't be afraid to go and explore, right? Especially with that budget. And you know what? And that's why it's so important. We're trying to share our experience, what we've done, what we've learned, what we've seen on the road, on the travel, and I think you would benefit from it.
Yeah, and one of the things that, for example, I'm not one to use Airbnb. I've done in a cabin, but I've done it through Cabin USA, and I'm not one to use hostels or what do you
Yeah,
call it?
hostel.
Hostels. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. I don't feel comfortable, having my luggage in a room.
So what's a hostel, right? So a hostel would be depending on the size of it. Sometimes usually the small ones are 4 beds for one room. 4 beds for one room, and you sleep with unknown people, right? I think, and those are pretty. They can get pretty cheap. $10 a night, $20 a night, or €10, €20 a night. But you're sleeping with people that you don't know, and I've seen those from 4 beds to 20 beds, right?
Yeah, and then you share a community shower and what have you. Now, you might be someone who's like, man, I don't care. I'm single. I'm young. I want to do that. And I just have a backpack and I have like a couple of t-shirts, underwear, socks, and so it might work for you, but the thing is that we want you to come to us and tell us, hey, we'd like to do this vacation, and but we don't want to. We want this, we want that, and then we can see if it fits within your budget. There are plenty of deals out there to be had. There's plenty of coupon codes and stuff that we can take advantage of. That anyone can take advantage of, and that's the beauty of Crazy Travels, is that anytime I do a video, and I love this video that I do that's called "Oh My God, Crazy, How Much Did It Cost?" where I showcase the room that we're staying at, and I tell you how much we paid for it.
Yes.
I tell you, for example, we just got back from a Carnival cruise. Oh my God, Crazy, how much did it cost? $844 for a balcony. Summertime, July. Late June, early July, 4th of July, Jubilee, big ship. And so there's deals out there to be had. 44 for a balcony. Imagine if I would have gotten an interior room, it would have been way cheaper, maybe $600 per person. And I mean, these deals are out there to be had, Chango. And
it goes from, my point is, don't be afraid. We've gone from traveling out of the United States, traveling in the United States, traveling on a cruise, right? Having the proper documentation. And one thing you bring up, the passport. When I started traveling outside the United States, I found that we have our passport is really special because it is a United States passport. At least for me, I don't know about you, Crazy, but it would put me in front of the line sometimes where they're like, hey, you're American. Okay, America's a different line, right?
Yeah.
And that was really good for me because it opens your eyes to, hey, I want to keep on traveling.
Yeah.
If they're gonna treat me like this, especially places that we've gone, it felt good. It felt good, and there's no reason.
There is always people out there spreading rumors.
Yes.
This isn't a political. We don't talk politics. We talk travel. But there's a lot of nope. I have yet to ever experience someone, being disrespectful, or obviously there's always going to be people who have issues or what have you, especially in public transportation. There are, the homeless, the people who have medical conditions, what have you. But man, you are in your seat. You're enjoying the view, looking outside. Man, then there's people when you walk off the platform at a metro, underground, subways, public transportation. You come out and there's people selling stuff, and it's like, oh wow, look, what do they have? Or there's a little puesto, a little tinajito, and it's like, oh look, they got this candy or this chocolate. I've never tried, a European chocolate. Let me try it. Really cool stuff that you can take advantage of. How did I break the shell? Because, I'm a kid from Laredo. I'm just a kid from Laredo who is not supposed to leave the city limits. And for me, it was 3rd grade. I had a project, on Italy. And so when I got married, I said, man, I'm going to give my wife a honeymoon to Italy. So I did a taste of Italy. I think it was.
I kind of want to get married to you, Crazy. Yeah. So you give me a trip to Italy too.
Yep. And so I went to a travel agent and I said, hey, this is our honeymoon. I've never traveled overseas. I have no idea. Oh, this is for you. This is going to work for you. You want Italy? You're going to get to see Rome. You're going to see Venice, you're gonna see Florence, Milan, Julius Balcony. Gosh, man, there was so many places that we visited all over Italy. And I think at the time for, and this comes with hotel, it comes with flights, it comes with the bus, the breakfast, sometimes dinner, sometimes lunch, $5,000 per person, for the both of us, I think, for the both of us, Italy. And so this is back then, 18 years ago, but it was really nice to break off the shell. Once I did that, I knew that, hey, someone's going to take care of me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm not really on my own, and I'm enjoying going overseas. So, Chongo, man, I know we hit our 30-minute marker.
Yeah.
This is what we're trying to do is, get you guys out of your comfort zone. Guys, if you have questions, comment section, tell us what you think, tell us what you want us to talk about. Guys, Chongo Banana, Crazy Travels, we ain't scared to travel. Check us out for the next video.